Alright, this is Weapon X Reacts and we're back with another video, and this is gonna be a review of Weapons. And to me, this is one of the best horror movies I have ever seen this year. And I really think that this is the best film of Zach Cregger's entire career as a filmmaker. As it just goes to show you that he is really good, especially when it comes to directing horror movies like Barbarian. And one thing that I liked about this film is that it's actually terrifying. And the reason why is because it focuses a lot more on its atmosphere rather than focusing on cheap jump scares, which is something we really need more from horror movies these days. And I totally recommend you check it out, as it's an experience you will never forget. Also, while this is a good movie, it does have a lot of problems which I will get into later on, and I just want to let you know that there will be a lot of spoilers in this review. I'm gonna break down the plot of this film. So, when all but one child from the same classroom vanish on the same night at 2:17 p.m., a community is left questioning who or what is behind the disappearance. Also, when I first heard about the hype that this movie was getting, it reminded me of what happened with Longlegs, which I thought was massively overrated and pretentious. While here, it was actually worth it. And it's nice seeing a horror movie that actually tries to tell a good story. Also, I even heard that this film was heavily inspired by Paul Thomas Anderson's Magnolia, and I can definitely see why, as they both focus on the lives of people in a community. Also, one thing I thought was interesting is that Zach Cregger based this film off on a time of where he felt grief at one point in his life, which makes this film a personal one for him. And I think he did a great job in showing that. Julia Garner did a great job as Justine. And it just goes to show you how good of an actress she really is, as I thought her talent was massively wasted in Fantastic Four First Steps. And it felt like they just didn't know what to do with her character. And one thing that I liked about her performance here is that she does a good job of making Justine's character arc extremely compelling. Like how she starts off as an ordinary school teacher, then becomes someone who went through a lot of trauma from that event. And not just that, but she was even accused of doing things she didn't do. And that she was the reason of why the kids went missing. And you even see moments of where she is seen drinking alcohol as a way of coping with the stress and pressure put on her. And overall, Julia Garner fucking carried this film. And to me, I think that this is one of the best performances of her entire career as an actress, and it perfectly fits with the film's themes of loss and grief. Archer is a pretty interesting character, as it shows how he is a father who wants to find his son. And I thought Josh Brolin's performance was really well done, and it's just a great example of the fact that this isn't just a good horror movie, but a well written drama with characters you really care about. And the best thing about it is that all these actors worked on Marvel movies, but when they move on to films like this, they actually get to show how good they really are. And they perfectly embody the trauma and grief that these characters go through. And you even see this with Benedict Wong as Andrew, who I thought was really terrifying in this movie. Also, Aiden Ehrenreich actually killed it as Paul, and it made me realize that he is a really good actor, as I thought his role in Ironheart was absolutely terrible. But here, he makes Paul someone who is actually interesting, and you really care about who he is as a person. The cinematography is absolutely amazing, as it does a great job at enhancing the film's dark atmosphere, and it makes every shot look like it's from a real life nightmare. If there was one thing I didn't like about this movie is that some of the jokes just don't work, as it really takes away from the fact that this is a serious film. And I even heard that Pedro Pascal actually dropped out of this film to focus on his other projects, like Fantastic Four First Steps. And to me, that is a good thing, because it would have ruined what made this movie good in the first place. And I'm gonna be serious right now. He is one of the most overrated and overused actors working today, and it is one of the main reasons of why Hollywood is so dead right now. Oh yeah, and I did feel like the pacing was a bit slow at times, but it didn't ruin this film from being the masterpiece it already is. Also, I thought the kids in this movie were really creepy, and every scene with them is disturbing. And to me, I think that they are a reflection of who we are as a society and the fears that come with that, which makes them even more terrifying than they already are. And they can even be seen as a metaphor for school shootings, which is really interesting when you think about it. This is the rating that this film got on Rotten Tomatoes, so 94% from the critics and 86% from the audience. And I'm gonna be reading out the reviews right now. So for the first one, Zach Kreger peels layers from his mystery box and intensifies it with each passing segment, playing fair with the audience until finally letting it explode into chaos and giving them the comeuppance they deserve to see. For the second review, a little slow but well acted, surprising mystery. For the third one, Weapons is the feel bad, feel good movie of the year. A rare horror masterpiece that leaps beyond its genre without abandoning its sick, sad heart. For the fourth one, this is a smart and entertaining horror movie that will keep you guessing until the end. For the fifth review, a very bleak movie that offers no comfort nor catharsis, just the lingering knowledge that evil is almost impossible to contain. For the sixth review, Zach Cregger mixes humor and horror with ease, and more importantly, keeps the audience on their toes until the film's nastily satisfying conclusion. For the seventh review, Weapons will surely go down as one of 2025's most inventive horrors. It boasts a haunting premise, great performances, spine-chilling direction, and timely explorations of communal terror and the fear of the unknown. And that is something I most definitely agree with. And as I read these reviews, this just shows you how good this film is. And it's nice seeing it get this much praise. And it's just so well deserved. And we need more horror films like this that actually focus on themes and atmosphere rather than just throwing in cheap jump scares for the sake of it. Because that is a problem I have with horror movies today, is that they just don't know how to be scary anymore. And that's what this film pulls off, and it does it perfectly. And also, I want you to think about it for a bit. Isn't it weird that Zach Cregger went from being a comedy director to becoming one of the best horror directors working today? And you can just see that with this movie and Barbarian. And I thought Barbarian was really good. I thought the soundtrack was just haunting, and it fit perfectly with the film's tone, and I'm gonna show you an example of it right now. That right there is a disturbing image, and I like it. No, seriously, this movie's got some of the best acting I've ever seen in a horror movie, and also The Shining by Stanley Kubrick, which is another great horror movie I think you should watch. Zach Cregger really put everything into making this movie, and it shows. The soundtrack, it makes you feel uneasy, doesn't it? I'm going to explain the ending of this film. So, after killing Aunt Gladys and freeing the kids, the movie ends with the kids reuniting with their parents. And then we see Alex moving out of town to live with his aunt, while his parents are institutionalized, all because of the trauma they suffered. Which is a really sad ending for a film like this. And it just sums up everything that this movie is about. And I just want to talk about Gladys for a bit. Like how she was the one who was responsible for the kids being missing. And it has been revealed in the ending that she is a witch who disguised herself as Alex's aunt. Also, that she can drain the life force out of the kids. And I just want to say that the actor's performance was really fucking disturbing. And she will go down as one of the best villains in any horror movie. Also, I even heard that Zach Cregger said that there may be a future sequel for Weapons, which is something I need to check out because he has proven that he is one of the best directors of the modern era. I'm gonna show you the trailers of this film, starting with the first one. Oh yeah, and one thing I forgot is that her death in this movie was really disturbing, but it was just so well deserved.
This is a true story that happened in my town. So this one Wednesday is like a normal day for the whole school. But today was different. Every other class had all their kids. But Mrs. Gandy's room was totally empty. And do you know why? because the night before, at 2:17 in the morning, every kid woke up, got out of bed, walked downstairs, and into the dark. And they never came back.
The camera work was also pretty good too.
At all. Why just her classroom? Why only hers? Where are our children?
We have a lot of emotional parents here. I think it's best if you keep some distance from this place.
Matthew, where are you? Where did you go?
This is where the story really starts.
I just want to say how very sorry I am for
He's being locked up until he tells us what happened.
The truth is that I want an answer just as bad as all of you.
We're talking about 17 kids in one classroom. I want to know what happened in that classroom. Why just her classroom? Why only her? Where are our children?
I love those kids.
This is
Actually,
a true story
Josh Brolin
that
was a
happened right
better
here in
choice
my
to play
town.
Archer than Pedro
People
Pascal
died in a lot of really weird
ever
ways in this story,
will be.
but you're not gonna find it in the news.
Those kids walked out of those homes. No one
Like,
told
really,
them.
if this movie kept Pedro Pascal, then this movie would have been a massive piece of shit.
Julie, where did you go?
There is something very, very wrong going on.
This movie had no right to be this good. Because it wasn't supposed to be.
Come on, what am I looking at?
Leave the investigating to the investigators.
I've never seen anything like that in my life.
Are you watching? Are you watching? Are you watching? Are you watching?
In conclusion, this was an amazing horror movie and definitely one of the greatest films that ever came out this year, along with movies like F1 and Sinners. And it's also doing really good at the box office, making $149 million with a budget of $48 million. And another thing that's interesting is that it's doing so much better than when you look at superhero movies like Fantastic Four First Steps, which is still a massive flop for Marvel, making only $15.8 million. And it really shows you just how far this franchise has fallen apart. And this is what happens when you focus more on woke bullshit rather than entertaining people. And it's a good example of the fact that nobody gives a fuck about superhero movies anymore. And while I thought Superman was a good start of the DCU, it still flopped. And it's just sad, really, because superhero movies were really good back then, but now they are just content that exists only to be consumed, and that's it. Also, for me, this movie was just so well worth watching. And it just shows you that 2025 is a great year for horror movies. And we need more films like this, especially nowadays. And let me know what you think about this film, because it is a great story about how trauma can affect a person and a community. Also, anyway, that's all I got for today. Go away now, and always remember, strike back like a weapon against wokeness.